Okay, is this thing on? Greeting, guys. Greetings. Hey, I hope everything's going good with you. I decided I was going to start doing some vlogging again in the podcast style, so I can explain some books. So this book I'm going through is it's about finance. It's a pretty easy one. It's pretty popular. It's called Personal Finance for Canadians for Dummies. And this is by persons Eric, Tyson, and Tony Martin. So this is a pretty good one. I'm just kind of going through it right now. So I'm going to do like a part series on this. Each video is going to have clips on what's in this book. So it's personal finance, so people can get a general idea. And this is the Canadian version. So has some about the author stuff. See if there's any good information on there. So one of them is an MBA graduate from Stanford Graduate School. That's good. That's Eric Tyson. Tony Martin graduated from Queen's University with a business degree. So they both showed up on Globe and Mail's programs, Reader's Digest programs, among other things. So it's good. You got a dedication there. You have an author's acknowledgement. So I'm just probably, in this video, I'll probably just go through what's in the content section, like the subjects page. And then that way you have an idea as to what to expect in this book. It's got quite a bit of good information. So contents at a glance, it says, it talks about, I'll just skim through what's in here. So it talks about figuring your financial fitness, obstacles to personal financial success, substantiating and accomplishing goals. Then it has saving and saving more and spending less. And then it asks the question in response, where did your cash go? It says dealing with money owed, cash owed versus your savings and other credit issues. Then it says reducing your spending, talking about taxes. Then it gets to an investment course, and it talks about investment concepts, investment vehicles, such as mutual funds, and then how to plan for retirement, your retirement. Then it talks about education expenses for yourself and for possibly your offspring, and real estate. Then it talks about protecting what you have with insurance basics, and what you need on your assets. Then it talks about financial planners and management. And then it talks about life changes and important topics. So once we get to the full table of contents, so I'll just kind of skim through this and keep these videos nice and short into parts, so it doesn't take up too much time. So it says why this book, and then it gives you a big picture, starting with your current position, and then what you should do from there. So the concept is save more, spend less, and then invest the rest, as well as protecting what you have, and then where to go for more help. So that's the introduction. Part one, it says looking at your current financial picture, so figuring out where to go from there. So it discusses common financial issues that people have. Cash owed, good cash owed versus not so good cash owed, and how they're classified. Then it talks about your financial net worth, your cash worth assets, and your cash owed liabilities. Then the calculation of your net worth and interpreting what those results are worth, and your saving analysis. Then that's chapter one. So chapter two gets into overcoming obstacles to personal financial success. Let's go through this table, this contents page, subjects page for this video. That way I can get into more so what it's about in other videos. So then you get to overcoming obstacles to financial success and learning financial literacy, what you're taught in schools and what you're taught from your peers and the hurdles around there, and developing good habits. Then chapter 3 is substantiating and accomplishing goals. So it discusses the definition of wealth, prioritizing your savings goals, defining what's important to you, prioritizing emergency reserves, your things for your offsprings, like your kids' education expenses and savings, big purchases, and of course retirement, and how to go about retirement. Then you get part 2, saving more, spending less. It's talking about where did the cash go. So it reviews topics like overspending, how to use your credit wisely, what happens to most people's credit. And then it gets into chapter 5, dealing with debt, so cash owed and credit problems, and then what to do about that issue, which is fairly common. Then it talks about bankruptcy, if you have bankruptcy, financial constraints that lead there, or if you're using it as part of a strategy of some type. Then it gets to chapter 6, reducing your spending, how to live successful by living within your means, eliminating waste and wasteful neglect, strategies to reducing your spending. So it talks about topics like food, shelter, transportation, clothing and accessories, cash owed repayment, indulgences, your personal business, Medicare or medical costs, insurance, taxes, and costly addictions that someone may have or participate in. Then here it gets to chapter 7, taking the trauma out of taxes. So where to pay your taxes, like how to go about that the proper way with your government, for all the stuff that they do in the country for the citizen. And then it talks about strategies that you can employ for yourself and for your family. So lots of stuff there, lots of credit arrangements you can do with regards to taxes. Then part 3, we get to an investment course. Talks about the concept of investing and how to go about it. So things you need to think about, like returns, type of returns, risks associated with investing, vehicles like stocks and bonds, diversification like asset allocation to minimize the risk, and allocating certain portions of your investment portfolio to other areas in the investment world. Investment firms, so that's chapter 8. Then chapter 9, investment vehicles, talks about some stuff there, odds and ends. Then it gets to chapter 10, mutual funds, investments for all of us. So everyone uses this. This is how you build your wealth, generally speaking. Then it talks about different types like money market funds, bonds, stocks, Canadian, United States, international, and global funds is a topic here, index funds. And then it talks about the fund manager and their reputation and the rankings and the performance of those funds. Those are important things to people who are invested in certain company funds. Then chapter 11 talks about your registered retirement savings plans. It's different per country. Each country has a different type of plans, a different plan. This one is Canadian. So in Canada, it's called an RRSP, a registered retirement savings plan. So this discusses how it works. You see the topic there. This discusses how it works, and then investing, the cash inside of it, when to use it after you've invested for years, if you how to use it for other things like a house or education. Talks about loans and grants and scholarships as well. Then discusses real estate in chapter 15, and your mortgage and owning versus renting, and the stuff associated with a mortgage and the types, like an open and closed mortgage, a fixed and variable rate mortgage, the lender fees, how a down payment and first home purchase works, the types of properties like condo, townhouse, co-op, detached, and other areas, so on and so forth. And it talks about working with real estate agents and putting a deal together and negotiating how what you want, as well as inspecting the property, make sure it's good quality. Aren't too many surprises there. Then we get to protecting what you've got. So chapter 16 talks about insurance basics. So some mandatory insurances you have to have on your property. And then chapter 17 talks about your own personal insurance, like life, disability, if you need that utility tool. And one minute here. Oh, the light turned off, so I turn it back on. And then it talks about your insuring your assets, just like your house, your car, your person, your body. So if you have insurance on it, it could be just like medical, workplace, cooperative payments. Okay, I think the light is out of energy here. I think it's out of battery power or energy. Anyway, yeah, it's out of energy. So it's a little bit darker. Yeah, so then it also talks about financial planners. When you should hire one and what to expect with the financial planner. And then it goes on to a whole bunch of topics with working with a financial advisor. Of course, they have to be licensed, and the license has to stay up to date. And there's a whole bunch of due diligence and fiduciary duties that has to be completed with that. That's associated with that responsibility. Also, it talks about tax advisors. Then it discusses mediums for managing your cash. I wonder how this looks. I'm gonna have to see the quality of the video, see if it still looks good without that light on. It's definitely a little bit less lit, but seems feasible. And then at the end, it talks about things that they say are more important than cash. So that's just the subjects page. That's just what's in the book. So I'm going to break this up into parts and go through this information, because this is very important information for a lot of people that you generally don't have access to. And I know some people on here, like you guys, really like this face-to-face format as opposed to like just a voice on a podcast. So I'm gonna make these videos so you can just watch, and I'll just discuss this information here. And I think it's very useful information, so hopefully you get a lot out of it, a good amount out of it, and you enjoy it greatly. But yeah, this is gonna be part 1, personal finance for Canadians for Dummies. I'm just gonna go through this book part by part and share that information with you.